Hey, Exiles, welcome to another episode of the Still Sane Podcast. I am here with my friend, KallTorak, the tour guide of zero point 0.3 Path of Exile 2. I feel like I have to address this really fast because a lot of people got really heated when I said I was having him on the pod. Kall is my friend. You can leave whatever comments you want, guys. Dude's awesome. You've been killing it with the PoE2 content lately. Everybody does, dumb things sometimes. I think you handled it in a very professional and the correct manner, man. So thank you for agreeing to do the podcast. I know that you've been, running your awesome Path to Exile podcast with Miso, Dead Rabbit, killing it there, releasing some really cool builds, including a Vampire Survivors like Bullet Hell build. So I figured, Kall, one, I want to know how you're doing today, and two, I want to talk about build diversity and balance in 0.3 and your thoughts on it as someone who's released, I think at this point, at least five distinct builds in the patch that you've played all the way to Endgame. So let's do it, man.
Thanks for having me, bro. I'm definitely not incredibly nervous right now, but I'm glad to be talking with you, man. I tried my best to embrace the meme. I'm sure we're gonna dive into it more later. But yeah, this patch has been really interesting in terms of build diversity. I want to say, this is gonna sound weird. I think build diversity is really a problem right now in this game. You can clear pretty far with a lot of builds, but the gap between the best builds and like the off-meta builds is like so extreme right now. Especially because of things like rarity on gear and stuff. So it's just like I keep like all these builds I've done, they're really fun and they're cool, but they all run into the same problems that off meta builds have, and I just feel that there's decent build diversity to an extent if you're happy clearing Waystone 15s. But when we start getting to like Juice Delirium maps and really pushing like hard bosses, the build diversity does not feel great right now.
Right. It was illuminated pretty well, I thought, by the discussion that two fellow content creators that we've talked with before, Snoobay85 and Off Meta Michael, had. Snoobay released a video showcasing his Twister build, clearing a juiced map at a rapid pace, getting a bunch of awesome currency drops and everything. And Off Meta Michael was kind of saying, "Hey, this is too much." Like, if the disparity, like you said, between the meta build or the strongest, because I don't even think Twister is meta, it's just very, very strong. And if the disparity between a meta build and an off meta build or a fun build is so great, where this build is able to clear a juiced map in 3 minutes, and then the off meta build takes 30 minutes or 20 minutes or even 10 minutes, it basically prices you out of the trade league. And for the vast majority of PoE players who want to participate in trade league, buy items, sell items and everything, it really hurts that type of player, right?
Yeah. It's the gap is enormous. Like this patch really just showed me how enormous it is. And especially because of rarity on gear. Because when you're
Yeah.
running 150 to 300% to 400% rarity, the amount of currency you're getting, and then if you're doing that on one of these builds that have the 1 to 2 minute clear times, like some of my favorite builds this patch, like you mentioned the Bullet Storm one, it had great clear time, but the bossing was always a struggle to the point that when the new patch came out and all the bosses got like made extremely harder, and now there's bosses in every map, it almost killed the build for me. Like it pretty much did kill the build for me. I only use it in Sekimus now.
Interesting.
Like that's the case with a lot of my builds right now. It's like there's always just like one critical weakness that like can't be overcome. And what's really sad is like there's many builds. Like I had a Mjolnir build on a Stormweaver, and I was streaming it one day, and it was like we killed bosses in like 2 seconds. It was a really fun bosser, and a viewer popped in chat and was like, "This was awesome," and I was explaining it to him. I was like, "How much rarity are you running?" And I said 0%. You can't fit rarity into this build, and he said, "Oh, I'm not gonna play it." Like that was literally his response. Like he was excited. He sat there and listened to the explanation. He was all in on the cost of the build. The moment I said 0% rarity, he was out on the build. And with off meta builds specifically, like you don't have room for rarity. You have to get res cap, and then usually you're having to use like weird uniques to make up for damage or defenses in other ways. So you really don't have room for rarity. I
Uh-huh.
mean, I remember Miso was doing a flame blast ignites purification build, and like it just he did everything he could, and he was barely breaking 100 rarity. Yeah, that's what you feel like you have to do it, because the difference between even just 0 to 150 rarity is insane. But like people are running 400% rarity for a reason. Like it
Right.
matters, and as long as rarity's on gear, I just feel like that is one of the biggest problems with build diversity right now. Is
Okay.
like there's a real FOMO problem, because like if you're not running rarity on
See,
your gear, you're so far behind.
see, it's fascinating to me, and I'm probably gonna get raked over the coals for this, but I'm someone who I'm level 94 on my monk. I I have 0% rarity. I don't think I aimed for rarity on my build, and you just used the term a second ago, FOMO. I think that pervades Path of Exile 2. It pervades Path of Exile 1. It pervades lots of ARPGs and honestly just games today. People hate missing out on the fastest thing, the strongest thing. They hate not being able to participate in the market and all that. Now, this is kind of a deeper, maybe like game design question as opposed to a Path of Exile specific question. But is that something that people can ever escape? Is that something that you just have to either be okay with, right? Be able to train yourself to say, I don't I don't care about being like the absolute strongest. As long as I'm like having fun and I can participate in the market, that's good enough for me. Or do you think people, even though it's not realistic, because let's use our friend Dead Rabbit as an example. Most people will never be able to like play as much, have as much currency, as much power as Dead Rabbit, who's putting out those awesome rarity builds. But they think they can. So they think they have to play those builds, and they play those builds so they can get as close as possible to the power level and the economic power level that Dead Rabbit has. Do you think that's something that can ever like be fought against by people who have ever cared about that? Or do you think that's basically inescapable once you had that mindset in a game before?
I think so the problem is that the disparity between no rarity and rarity is just so big. So
Okay.
it's not like I think FOMO is fine because you can get around FOMO. Miso said it best on our podcast. It's not FOMO, it's Mo. You're just missing out. Like there is no like fear of there. Like the difference between having rarity and not having rarity, you are just losing. So like when you've designed something that big of a difference and not everyone can get access to it, that's just bad game design.
Yeah.
Just period.
Yeah.
From 0.1 to 0.3, I was on board with rarity on gear for the longest time. And this patch just like, especially since I started like really pushing myself with like more different types of build archetypes, I really started to see just how of a negative impact rarity has on just build craft. Like I'm not talking like rarity is fun. It's fun to like Rabbit wouldn't stack 400% rarity if it wasn't fun for him, right? Like getting
Right.
all those tinks is super fun. But just not every build can. It's impossible to ever have every single build be able to fit 150% rarity on gear in it. So I just think that is just one of the biggest. Like again, it's not fear of. It's you are missing out when
Is
you're
the
not running
solution
rarity.
just killing it essentially on gear? Just
On
removing it?
gear, yeah, I
Right.
think
On
so.
gear.
At this point, I'm fully on. Like I've gone off and on for this train since 0.1. Like I like the idea. I like the idea of rarity on gear. It is cool. Like the idea that you can have a set of gear. Maybe it's just because I come from MMOs where like you have multiple sets of gear for different types of content or stuff. Like that's real. Like you really sometimes specialize in other games, and you do that in ARPGs a lot too, especially in Path of Exile 1. But like it's rarity is good everywhere, so you can't have it be like a specialized stuff. Like in Path of Exile 1 with Rarity on Gear, you use it for target farming uniques and stuff. So that's
Yes.
like a very specific type of thing you're doing. But in Path of Exile 2, Rarity helps you no matter where you're at. So
Right.
it's ruining build. There's other things that are a problem with build crap, but right now for me, it's Rarity has to be off of gear. It just has to.
I think between Dream Course video on it, you guys talking about it on the pod, everybody reacting to the rarity discussion. I think that's going to be one of the big points that GGG tries to address in 0.4, right? I think they've shifted a few things between now and or the beginning of launch and now, but 0.4, given that it's likely going to be focused on Endgame, they've got to address that because the entire Endgame of Path of Exile, it's going to be farming stuff. Rarity is a very determinative factor in that. We see our friend Farum, F from Farum. He's doing a whole bunch of crazy experiments with rarity and finding out some interesting things. Maybe I don't know if the data has borne through yet, but he's working on it. So I expect some pretty major shakeups there when it comes 0.4. Now, as for 0.3, again, circling back with the balance and the buffing, okay, they pitched it as the buff patch. Now, Do you think that it was a sufficient patch of buffs, or do you think that, as you said, the rarity discussion essentially and the power of a few certain skills is kind of, or even just ascendancies, kind of thrown that out the window?
I'm curious, like how much GGG actually buffs skills, like how much they think they buffed it internally, because I feel like they might have like held back a little bit because of the power. Like in this patch, keep in mind we got instant weapon swap, we got unlimited support gems, and then we got lineage support gems, and then they made the attribute recost on all of the gems and gears easier. So like just from that alone, there was a lot of power creep, and a lot of the power from this patch right now is coming from support gems.
Mm.
Um, and then just the gear itself, like crafted gear is insane. So I like, it honestly doesn't feel like the base skills really all that leveled up. And this is something I've complained about nonstop. Whenever you did your last 0.3 like creator feedback video, I'm pretty sure what I mentioned was they needed to start patching more and start buffing the bad builds more mid patch, like and stuff like that. We had what, two major patches again in 0.3. Like we're really not getting any new balance changes at all. And keep in mind, when I say, anytime I say balance changes, like I'm not advocating for nerfs. I'm not saying these top builds need to be brought down. You keep those where those are. You can't nerf those until
Mm.
0.4. But there are so many just bottom tier skills still that are just completely not scaling in Endgame that they could start tweaking. That's just where my biggest complaint is the bottom just gets left at the bottom.
Yeah,
And I feel like at least for the first month or two, they could make room for more patches.
right.
I would hope, but I guess not.
I think with the tight schedule they have with PoE 1, that's basically out the window. I
I
think
think
that's,
so now
yeah,
too.
that's like the new excuse, you know? Before it was, oh, we don't want to change things mid-patch, and now the, I guess, valid excuse is, oh, we're working on PoE 1 now, so they can afford, I think it was just they only
Yeah, I
had
wouldn't call that
one.
an excuse.
Yeah.
That's like it's a good reason. Like
Yeah, oh yeah, right. But they early access, it's supposed to have updates. Man, I really wish they would go back on
right, I
that, but they're
know.
never
Yeah.
going to. I think they're probably going to aim for one major patch in between leagues, and it's not going to have any balance unless it's fixing bugs that are affecting builds and even allowing for some builds. A fellow creator, I think it's Lex D, Blaze's
I
friend.
like this, yeah.
He had a, I think it was some sort of cry build, like war cry build, where a bug was fixed and it completely tore it apart. Unfortunately, he had like a build guide out, multiple build guides out, a whole bunch of stuff. People were loving it, and bug fix in 031 just smashed his build, unfortunately. So I think one of the big problems with skills right now, and maybe this is leftover design from 01 and everything they were trying to do with PoE 2 before, is skills don't scale into endgame well. You just mentioned that because they don't screen clear. And you need to do that in PoE 2 now. You have to. There's no taking down one pack at a time or one monster at a time. You need to kill everything super fast on the screen with the addition of Abyss. And I think a lot of the builds that you've showcased actually did that really well, but then they faltered in one other area. And that's something I wanted to talk about too. You mentioned that your bullet hell build killed packs really fast, but then failed in bossing. Do you think maybe this is their way of hopefully making sure you use a secondary skill for bosses, or maybe you actually start using multiple skills? And do you think that's still feasible in Path of Exile 2, or are we moving more and more to this one skill direction before
Um,
we go?
no, I think we're still pretty early on
Okay.
in the balance of skills and stuff. Like this patch really changed the game fundamentally how it's played with the instant weapon swap and the support gems. A lot of these skills and gems were designed without instant weapon swap in mind. They were not designed with having multiple support gems. So a lot of them are just fundamentally broken in this game right now. That's why they're bottomed out. Some of them just need complete reworks. Um, it's just right now there's a lot going on in this game. It is a very deadly game. It is very rippy, and there's only a few builds that can really become unkillable right now, and they require like very specific stuff like tech rod and things like that. You have to be unkillable, and that's really hard to do with off meta builds. That's just the biggest problem with off meta builds is they require usually uniques and stuff, and every unique you add to a build. Rares are like, especially with the crafting this patch, rares are like the most, like a good gear is the most power you can get right now. Like having
Right.
items is all of your power. So
Yep.
every time you add a unique to the build, which I like using uniques personally, I think uniques are fun. Sometimes my builds start with the idea of using a unique. And then I just end up adding more and more. And yeah, the biggest thing is defensives right now. This patch is super rippy, especially with like the changes to bosses and stuff.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, 031 bosses are quite powerful. I played a little bit last night on my monk in Endgame, and I got one shot by a boss auto attack, and I sat there for a moment, looked at the screen. I just logged out. It was the dig site map boss with his little snake. He just whipped me
oh
with a
yeah.
line of lightning, and I just died. And I was like, wow, because I tanked all this other stuff. I thought I was totally fine. He must have crit me or something. But what a feel bad on a 6 mods 0 portal map, dude. I think that the auto attacks for bosses need a little bit of retuning there. Even with the basic map bosses, their HP seems in line, but their damage just seems out of this world. Or maybe I
Yeah,
got unlucky.
it's tough to know because we don't know like is this the ceiling of the game or how many ceilings after this are we about to be
Mm.
getting? It does feel like the game is pretty rippy right now, but um, it's just hard to know like if this the peak of the damage, then stuff needs to change for sure. But I just feel like with that we just got a bunch of overhauls right now. Like energy shield builds are unkillable. Like if you're playing energy shield build, you're seeing people get up to like 40,000 energy shield now. Like
Oh, that's crazy.
it is completely different if you're playing that style of build. Like
Mhm.
if you're playing the life recoup builds with Tech Rod's Revenge
Yeah.
or Tech Rod and Bloodletting, you actually have so much life regen. It's like 10,000 plus life regen per second. You like actually have to be hit by like a uber boss one shot to die at times. Like some builds can be very tanky, but just with my builds, it's a bit rough, and one of the problems I run into is, again, I'm not playing with 150% rarity on them, so I have less currency to invest in builds. And I've complained about this a lot, but the gold cost this patch is like the biggest problem for me when it comes to being a build crafter. Like
Really?
this last build I did a Righteous Fire Roa build. We found a cool technique where you can put Infernal Legion inside of Roa mount. And this, like when you ride the Roa stops taking damage from Infernal Legion, but he keeps the aura of Infernal Legion. So the mount you're riding essentially is Righteous Fire. And
Yeah.
it plays just like Righteous Fire because the aura is coming off of your character model. And because it's like a new technique, like I've spent so much currency just trying it out on different characters, different styles of like energy shield, armor, evasion, different stuff. And across all of the testing I've done the last 5 to 6 days, I want to say I've spent 50 to 60 divine buying maps for gold.
Oh.
Because when you're testing something, one, you're not testing with rarity, and then when you've completed like your loadout, you go and do 2 to 3 maps, and you're like, okay, this isn't quite working how I wanted to. I need to change some stuff up. Let's do some passive tree changes, and like on my 80, it was my 96 Lich, a full passive tree respec. I was playing on the bottom half of the tree and I wanted to respec to the top half, and it was like 800,000 gold. And like, whenever you're not grinding maps nonstop, that's just too much. I swear I spent like 50 divine buying gold for maps, and like, the
That's
gold cost
shocking.
for respecs, and then there's a gold cost for buying stuff. Like you have to go to like the instant buyout trade, which we should talk about soon. Async trade is the best thing that's ever happened to any ARPG. Period. But async trade has a gold cost to it. So when you're buying a lot of gear for multiple builds and different character types, that can be expensive. That cost needs to stay the same. But the gold cost for passive tree respecs is like I'm done with the patch for now. I'm about to take a break, and I need a cooldown period because because of the gold cost, like
Yeah.
purely because of the gold cost. I'm spending so much time having to find maps to buy for gold and then like sit on them to get gold. It has drained me the last week.
Are maps the best thing to generate gold? Selling maps? Is that what you say? Yeah.
Well, if you're playing the game, you're doing your own juice, delirium maps with abyss mods. You're making so much gold yourself.
Oh, okay.
But because I do like 2 to 3 maps, and then I'm like, okay, it's time for a respec because this loadout didn't quite work. Right now with off meta builds, path of building doesn't work at all. Like there's no way Infernal Legion and Roa Mount is supported even in the slightest, right? Like
Hmm.
the even meta builds are not fully supported in Path of Building right now. It's just so hard to do. So you have to manually test everything. And when I'm testing it on a Lich, a Gemling, and a Titan, I'm testing Energy Shield, armor, that's full passive tree respecs.
Yeah.
It's just so much gold. And yeah, like castaways, people like I don't know. I'm sure like a lot of people buying maps for golds are like people who sit in their hideout trading all day, hideout warriors. But there are like clearly a huge demand for gold because lobby slots in castaways go for 2 divine right now per
Wow, that's
person.
crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know. That's an underbelly of PoE that I didn't know existed. I'm in this bubble, man, where gold, I mean, it doesn't really matter that much to me. I'm using it for async
It's a very
trade a
much a
little
me
bit.
problem, I'm
Yeah.
sure, by the way. It's
Well,
very
it's
much
a
a build crafter. So
build crafter
I'm not
problem.
saying
Yeah.
that like this is like a whoa is like please change this. It doesn't necessarily have to change. I'm just,
Yeah.
pointing out why it's a problem
Are
for
there
me
any
at least.
tools that you think would assist in a game aside from I'm talking about in game,
I
so
think the
not
gold
POV
cost
or
for
anything.
passive trees is just like I don't understand why the gold cost for passive like why does it need to be a million gold to fully respect the passive tree of a level 96 character? Like does it really need to be that high? And even for like low level players, like when if you're a new player to the game, shouldn't you be encouraging someone to try out new builds more often with a cheaper gold respect? Like I don't think it needs to be free, but I just think the gold respect for passives in general doesn't need to be that high. But again, I'm a very skewed perspective. I make a lot of characters. When you make a lot of characters, you go through gold quickly. Like, I don't know if this is the average experience, but I feel
Right.
like it would just be better in general if it was cheaper.
Right. Okay. See, someone pointed out in chat, I barely have one divine orb to my name, so I I don't even know what's going on, dude, honestly. I wonder if there would be a solution, maybe like a discount for respecing your entire passive skill tree as opposed to a few nodes. Like you can click the button and it's like, I don't know, 30% discount if you do an entire
Sure.
respec as opposed to something like that. Grinding your games, as we've seen with like all the Path of Exile 1 teasers that are coming out, they are so heavily focused on quality of life. I wouldn't put something like that past them now. I feel like they are hyper aware that one of the biggest pain points with both of their ARPGs are the points of friction. And I think in the places where it makes sense to, they're going to continue laxing a little more every single patch. And that's going to draw some people in, maybe from some other ARPGs, right? So I could see them doing it, especially since
Yeah.
what did they just do? Add async trade, dudes, what you said was one of the best things added to ARPGs ever. So, initial thoughts on it, the W's, the complaints on it, because I just have a few little qualms, but they don't even match to what quality of life it has given me this patch.
I just think the longevity of this league, like in terms of like new content, the end game got almost nothing. Like
Yeah.
this is the same patch I've been playing since 0.2 and 0.1, but this league has had the most longevity in terms of player base that 0.1 and 0.2 had. Like, and I think that is purely because of async trade. I think it's got the crafters playing more. It's got the people who like trading more playing more. It's got anyone like it's got everyone playing more. A lot longer this patch, and it's because of async trade. It allows you to play alternate characters easier. At this point in the league, getting off meta gear is really annoying at times because like you have to message 30 people in the old system and they all don't respond, and eventually
Mm-hmm.
you finally get someone to respond, but it doesn't have the exact roles that you wanted, but you take it anyway. Like. Uh, I feel like I have friends who are literally only playing the trade game right now, and they're just having so much fun because of it. That's not for me.
Yeah.
I hate being in my hideout more than a couple minutes. But yeah, I think ASIC trade is just yeah, and I'm so excited for it to be coming to PoE 1.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's great. I have like obviously it could use some upgrades. I feel like Act 4 is a really rough unlock point. I
Really
think like I mean like
interesting.
for league starting, like it's going to be annoying to have to play Act 1 through 4 again without async trade. Obviously, for the good players and the fast players who can get through Act 4 in an hour or two, that's good. It doesn't matter to them. But for your average player who slow crawls through the campaign, I remember a lot of people complaining about like I really wish I had async trade right now. I could get this gear because once people have async trade, they're not putting gear in the tabs to sell for whisper trade.
Right.
They're only selling through the async trade. The tabs don't work both ways. So very quickly, all of the good gear and the things you're wanting to want, especially at like since the higher level people are getting all the good gear and maps and stuff, you can't buy it from them because you don't have async trade unlocked. So I feel like that's the biggest downside I have. But otherwise, I mean, it needs to be iterated on more. But I think I
I
mean I'm
would
in love with it.
I would love to see a few like shortcuts for searching for
Oh yeah, for
commonly
sure.
commonly looked for things, or like having a search history. I think that'd be so cool to add. I don't know if that's too powerful or not, especially for those people who are the what hideout warriors. I think that's what people call them. So they can copy paste exactly the affixes they want to search for rare items. Just it's every
Well,
single
those
time.
people still use the website,
They
like,
do.
Dead
They,
Rabbit. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I whenever I'm bulk buying, I have to use the website, and it's way
Yeah.
easier. Like when I'm buying Megalomaniacs, like I buy them through the website and stuff too. Like,
Okay.
I feel like they should just make the in-game client as good as the website. Like I agree, like we need more history and
Yes.
stuff. I
Yes.
think we're just in the alpha of the
Hmm.
async trade interface. Um, but yeah, like the biggest, like, so whenever I'm buying jewels, an example, let's say I'm like, I need 4 new jewels that have like crit damage bonus minion or like and critical hit chance and something. Like if you search that in game, you have to click the search, you gotta go jewel, and then you have to maybe like set it to sapphire if you only want to search for sapphires, and you have to go set your the affixes you want on it, and then the percentages minimum you want on it. You
Hmm.
search it, you go to the hideout, you buy it, and then it all reset. Then you have to fill that all out again. So like when I'm buying something like jewels or something like that, I still have to do it through the trade website because you don't lose that reset. You can easily just keep scrolling and stuff. So
Okay.
they just need to get more quality of like, yeah, you still have to use the website in some cases, unfortunately.
See,
At
I
least.
said farewell to that website. I haven't been on it the entire league. I'm an in-game trade guy. I want them to implement it into the game. I would love to see that. Maybe they'll make some improvements for Path of Exile 1 or the release that's upcoming, and we'll get to see them in PoE 2 and 04 an emergency patch. That'd be pretty sweet. Somebody in chat is saying you can copy paste items in game. If you can, whoa. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
you so like that's how we import our gear to Mobalytics. When you're hovering over an item, if you hit Control C, it copies all its stats, and then you can.
You can copy it in the trade website into like the stats into the trade
I don't know.
website
I've never done it into a trade
or the
website
trade
before. I've never done
interface is
that
my
before,
bad.
but I know I've used the copy paste
Me
stuff
too.
before in
Okay.
other situations. I've
Craft
never
of
done it through trade
Exile.
site though.
I used to do that in
That's cool
PoE
though.
1 when I was a really hardcore gamer. I'd Craft of Exile stuff, you know. Haven't done that in a while. maybe once I hop into 3.27, my hardcore gamer attitude will kick back in and I'll start hyper optimizing again as I used to do. Okay, so trade, I'd see that as a W. I think that balance was overall an L, unfortunately, at this point. A campaign and interludes. Cal, you only talk about builds on your channel, so you very rarely do commentary pieces. Very curious to hear what you thought about
I
Act
won't do
4.
commentary pieces anymore, by the way.
Okay,
We're
fine.
sticking to builds, brother.
Touche. That's fine. That's totally fair. Campaign and interludes. What did you think about those two things?
That was a great change for the patch. I mean, I've
Okay.
leveled. I don't know how many characters in the end game now. I want to say like 9 to 11. I don't remember. But it's so much better. And I imagine they're staying around. The interlude acts, they're cool. They're not like fantastic, but they're well made enough that I feel like GGG made them knowing that they weren't going to be replacing them in 0.4. So I'd be very surprised if 0.4 had like Act 5
Yeah.
and like Act 6 with it. I
Right.
imagine the interludes are here to stay for a bit, which I'm fine with. They're not the best. I very much prefer Acts 1 through 4 right now.
Really?
The act. Oh yeah, I like
Oh,
Acts 1 through
okay.
4. I don't like the interludes.
Okay. What do you not like about the interludes? I'm curious.
Well, I don't dislike them. They just
Do they not feel as high
I,
quality? Do they not have this like the same flow? Are the boss fights bad? Like what really stands
it's
out
just
to you?
repeat boss fights and stuff. Like a lot of them are repeat boss fights or reskin boss fights. Like one of
Love
them's a
those.
reskin of Babala, one of them's a reskin of the Count and the Countess from Act 1. Like it's not bad. There's like one of them's a reskin of the Reddit moderator boss from Act 2.
Uh-huh.
Like
Uh-huh.
they're all the same bosses, just like slightly different.
Hmm.
So yeah, they're not bad fights. They're not like bad, poorly made. It's just like Act 5 and 6 are definitely going to be like
Oh,
we
yeah.
assume they're going to be way better, right? Like, so when you're comparing them to an Act before it, they fall off a
I
bit. But
get
yeah,
it.
I much prefer it than repeating Act 1 through 3. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
ever want to go back to that.
And I must have I think I have GGG brain because when I see reskinned bosses or monsters, I think, oh, that's so clever. Oh, I really like how you did that. This does, I know where this is from, okay? But you did it in a smart enough way that I actually really enjoy this. Like, I know that almost every single fight is a reskin or even just the same fight dropped in a different environment. I've really enjoyed it. I'm almost of the mindset now. I'm not pro campaign skip, Cal, but I was thinking to a future of okay, you don't have a campaign skip, but you have acts 1 through 6 that you can play, which has the story, the cutscenes, all that stuff, right? Classic. And then you have an interlude campaign where it's 10 to 15 interludes that you have to do to get to endgame instead. And they're snappy, they're reused assets, they have basically no story. You talk to one person in town, you get your quests, and you just go. You kill monsters, kill bosses, and you move through. And that could be an alternate way to get to the endgame. I actually am open to that idea. I thought that'd be kind of
it's
a cool
smart.
idea. Yeah.
It's smart for sure. I guess okay, so I have game dev brain, so from my
Yeah.
perspective, right? You only do that as a developer when you're crunched on time, and like every game developer, like if they could have had their choice, they would have handmade individual bosses for each of those locations. You know that deep down they don't want to do reskins. Reskins are just they're fun. They can be cool. I can appreciate them as well, but you know deep down they would have loved to have spent, weeks, preparing a whole new boss loadout with their own mechanics and stuff. So that's where I'm just like, I know that deep down they just wanted it to be their own bosses. And yeah, I can only see, like, it's like what you have, it's like the Matrix eyes, right? Like what you like you see that all I see is the same code being reused twice now, and I'm just like a little bit let down.
I get it.
Obviously they spiced them up a little bit because some of them are like two bosses at once, or the one boss with the traps, they added the traps to the area. I mean, but it's really the same fight.
They made him ice instead of fire, man.
Yeah,
That's so
dude.
cool. Come on.
It is cool. It is definitely cool, but
See, I'm such a simple man. See, I just see, ooh, ice now. That's cool. And I'm like, that's good. That's why I'm so impressed, guys. Come on. That's why my brain like got addicted to Mega Bloks.
It's
so
impressive
quickly.
given that it was probably made on a very quick crunch time. I imagine those interlude acts were made in a very short turnaround. I doubt those were being prepped months in advance.
Probably
I'm sure,
a month.
Those got crapped out like a month.
Yeah, I think so. That's what it sounded like, because everybody, I think Ziggy asked like, "Oh wow, this took quite a bit of time then, right?" And they're like, "Nah, that was actually pretty quick."
Yeah, I don't think so. Because all of the areas are just reskins of old areas. Right. Like, it's just reskin bosses. Like, I imagine that was like 1 to 2 people over the course of a month.
I would love to see some of the maps that are in the interludes used as endgame maps. Maybe I just haven't encountered them. There's this one, its name is already escaping me. It's the Kaji Crossing or something. It's the one where you can exit and like 4 different points in the town. And it's this huge map. It's not an endgame map. Oh, I thought that was so cool. It reminded me so much of Diablo 2's desert area, like right when you get in, because you're walking everywhere and there's just monsters swarming you from every which direction. You're like, okay, surely there's no monsters over on this side of the map, and there are.
The best map is from that act, though. It's a confluence. Like in the top right of the zone, the one that has the pillars where you have to choose between like the 3% movement speed and stuff. Yep. Like that is the best map right now in this patch, because it's just a big open area with this good density now.
Yep.
The boss at the end is just the snake boss, so that's whatever. But the map itself, yeah. That's good. That's the best you're gonna get to that,
right. Someone's saying a lightning monkey. Ooh, a reskinned lightning monkey. Like,
I mean, more monkeys is always cool.
Instead of a pillar, he has a giant thunderbolt. He's like a Zeus monkey. All right? He doesn't slam the pillar down on top of you. He just like chucks a lightning bolt at you.
Did he mean that monkey or the other monkey though?
I think I like the pillar monkey. I like the one that's reskinned into a Yeti. He's a Yeti, and what is
that's
Interlude 3?
that one, like, those are such a letdown for me. Those were the ones where I'm just like,
that was a bad one. That one was just a appearance reskin.
That was literally just a reskin. That was just literally just a reskin.
It was not like the counts. The counts had a bunch of new moves, right? But
they're they do have a few moves. Yeah,
they have, one of them. But the monkey was just he just white fur, and that's it. He's a Yeti.
Literally just a Yeti monkey.
Yeah, that's it. So no more monkeys. Okay, people don't want monkeys. I'm telling you guys, you're getting more monkeys. GGG is obviously obsessed with monkeys in Path of Exile too. Okay, what did you think about the Interlude 2 act boss, the swordsman?
Was
he hard for you? No. Yes.
No. I play Thorns, so like on League start Thorns, here's the problem. Like, I really don't like League starting Thorns, and I could there's a lot I don't like about Thorns, honestly, but League starting Thorns, it just trivializes so many boss fights to where you don't get to see them. Because a lot of them have fast attack patterns that just instantly one-shot themselves and stuff. And at that point, when Thorns is always just so online that... so my first time through him, like, he killed himself in like 3 seconds, and then...
Oh my god.
There's only been like one build I've struggled on him from, but like whenever like I level alternate characters, I'm usually leveling with like twink gear, so I'm not a solo self-found player.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't know. I'm a cheese trade Andy, so like
Oh
I'm
man.
usually going through the game with like really
Yeah.
good gear.
Okay.
I just want to get the end game as fast as possible.
Get it. Get through the best part of the game as fast as possible, Cal. Yeah. I get it. I get it. Okay, so I also was curious. Act 4. What was your most enjoyable area? Do you have one that stood out, like, or a boss fight that you really liked out of the set?
Um, Honestly, I really don't like a lot of Act Four's layouts.
Really? They're so linear though. Why don't you like them? Are they too tight or?
They're all too. It's just too samey. Like they're all just too samey.
Okay. See,
I,
they
I
went
I
for
really don't
linear.
feel like the layout diversity in those. My favorite boss from Act Four. I don't know. Maybe the monkey. I
The
don't know.
monkey.
He's cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
See, that's one where
Yuma or whatever.
I killed Yuma too fast. I didn't get to experience the mechanics. Everybody's ranting and raving about the one shot on him. No idea what it is. So then once I get a character there that actually has to fight him, I'm gonna just be like, ooh, what is this one shot everybody's talking about? I'm ready
If you
for it.
go into that fight on a low life build with no chaos res, you're gonna have a bad time.
Out of there. Don't do it on hardcore solo self-found. Not a good idea. Okay. Moving on to the next thing that was kind of changed up in 0.3 Cal. It happened in 0.3.1, the endgame shakeup. Obviously, to open the patch, there weren't a lot of changes aside from the new bosses and new layouts. 0.3.1 removed towers and tablets, that interaction, and it buffed up the bosses. Now, have you played it a good chunk? What are your thoughts on the changes? Do you think we need more time to digest them? A full new league cycle? What's going on?
And so, first of all, the bosses in every map is amazing change. That's been something I've been complaining about 0.1. I feel like that's just something the whole PoE1 community was complaining about. Like, you have this game that added just bosses that are just so much fun, and you're decided to not put them in every map. So that was just the biggest change, and it allows people to play the game the way they want to now. You don't have to be chasing rares. You don't have to be doing the objectives if you don't want to. You can just go for a boss and just zip around the maps and stuff. So in terms of gameplay flow, that's been good. The tower changes felt very rushed to me.
Okay.
Um,
With the way tablets were implemented, kinda.
yeah, just a lot of how it's just been set up. It just felt like, okay, we have this system and we can't fully remake it. So what's the best way we can get it to feel better right now? And it doesn't feel great, in my opinion. It's way better than before, but this system, like, it cannot stay like this. Um, and it all just goes down to map choice. I feel like that's just the
Okay.
biggest problem that people are always going to have with the PoE2 endgame mapping. The endless atlas is like a cool concept, but it's unavoidable that you're going to be doing maps you don't want to do.
Right.
It's just unavoidable, especially with the cost of grand projects right now. Like your average player is just forced to play maps. It doesn't matter how big the map pool gets. We're going to get Act 5 and 6 soon. That's going to add more maps. And then over time, they're going to keep adding more maps and maps and maps. But it's never going to be a world like there's always going to be 10 or 12 maps you only want to do. And like right now, it is just you can't spam maps you want to do. You're constantly having to do maps you don't want to do. And yeah, like just going back to the tablet changes, the tablets are in an awful spot right now. They're way too infrequent. Like it really, like again, I don't want to sound like I'm being a dead horse, but they do these sweeping balance changes to the end game, but then they're not willing to follow up with a bunch of micro patches. So like we're left in these kind of drought areas where we have this like, okay, we got this cool new thing, but there's these unintended consequences from this change that they didn't anticipate, which is understandable in early access game. And you would want to make micro adjustments on the fly for them. Like it's like right now, tablets like a blank ritual tablet is selling for 3 divine right now because they're
What?
just so hard to get. Yeah, if you just
Oh.
have a blank ritual tablet that sells for 3 divine right now,
Oh, I'm
tablets
getting
are
a lot
just
of
so hard
divines.
to get. And I don't think anyone anticipated the drop rate on tablets being this bad and there being this much of a tablet drought. Right now, the cost of omens is so high because of this tablet drought. It's a very easy band-aid fix right now if GGD was just able to just give us a minor hot fix that increases the drop rates of tablets, adds an influx of them for now while they find a solution. But because we're just going so long without minor patches, we get these big 3.1, 3.2 patches, and then there's just so like we need 3.2A, 3.2B, 3.23C. Like we're not getting those, and it's leaving the people who are playing with just in a really awkward world. If you want to like buy tablets right now, good luck. Like if you're an
Interesting.
average player, like that guy in chat who said he had 1 divine, Okay, I'm sorry, man. Like
I
that's where we're at right
He said
now.
I have one divine. So
Oh, you have one
yeah,
divine. Oh,
I
okay,
have more
sorry.
than
Like,
one now, dude. I have blank ritual tablets from before the changes that I have not used. So
yeah, no. If you have old tablets, you can make bank right now. I'm not kidding. Old tablets
interesting.
have are juice. So if you can sell your old tablets, you can make what probably 100 divine plus right now. I'm not kidding.
Okay, so what that's telling me, because I haven't like spammed the end game or anything since 031. I played a good chunk of it, but I haven't played like another 90 hours or anything like that. So it sounds like when they released 031, they also drastically nerfed the drop rate of tablets in all forms of content. Is that basically what's happened here? Seems.
So we're actually talking about that on the podcast, and I'm really excited to talk about what we have Farmer on, and then we have Dead Rabbit and Misa, who are all like three great farmers. I am not a farmer. I do not know why. I don't pay attention to the metas of those kind of stuff.
Okay.
I actually do not know why the tablet drop rate is so low. On the show notes for tomorrow, I literally say I want to talk about tablets and ask them why the drop rate is so low. I don't know
Tune
what
in.
has caused this drought in the tablets. I'm sure there's a reason. Maybe it's just because more people are maybe it's just because we're going through tablets faster than we were before, but they're not dropping more frequently.
Oh, that's a good point.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
That's a great point right
But
there, though.
yeah,
There you go. So,
that could be
okay.
it.
Yeah, okay. Because if they lower the drop rates, I was wondering, okay, maybe this is
I don't
experiment
think they
grinding your games.
touched the
You
drop
don't think they did? They're
rates.
just not
Maybe
enough
they did
supply
though.
for
I
the
haven't.
demand, right?
I think so.
Because it
You
used
need
to
a
be
lot of tablets now.
right, because you used to be able to apply like one ritual tablet to what surrounding 50 maps or something, huge number of maps, and now it has limited. What new ones have? Is it a max of 14?
10.
10? Oh, it's
I think it's
10. Oh,
10.
jeez, it's 10.
Maybe it's 14. I don't. Maybe it's 18 now. I don't
It's
remember. I don't know.
okay.
I'm
It's
not a
lower.
juicer. I don't pay attention
Me
to
neither.
stuff.
Me neither. So, but that would make sense why a lot of people who are still playing are a little frustrated with that. They can't add the
I think it
content.
goes up to 18 now.
18?
Actually,
Okay. They can't add the content they would like to their maps. Okay, interesting. Okay. At the same rate as before. Yeah, so Endgame, I mean, you said you were beating a dead horse. Grinding Gear Games also is very cognizant of the fact that Endgame needs a drastic shakeup in 04. That, along with the Druid, totally the Druid, are going to be the mainstays of 0.4, which probably will drop in December. So we'll see if they further iterate on these changes. I do agree that it feels a little half-baked with the tower changes, the tablet changes. I am also in agreement. Bosses in every map. Heck yeah. Love it. And the powerful bosses, they feel like real bosses. They're tanky, at least for my build, and they hit hard, which I really like. You got to dodge their stuff.
yeah.
Okay.
Another shout out to Farmer.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you talked to Farmer on your podcast before?
Not yet. We are going to schedule one for 04. So
Good. The Farmer's been doing the boss kill events where he's been super juicing those bosses. Those are so cool, right? Like that's the content we want from Path of Exile 2. We want to be able to make these unkillable bosses and then just like test your builds versus them. Now we just need to get the balance better to where more builds can test themselves versus bosses like that. Because right now it's very top heavy. But yeah. Sorry.
Oh, those videos were amazing. The Shark Boy boss fight. There was that one guy with or two people who were using comments to chunk the boss. Oh my gosh, that was a shocker. After watching person after person not even break past the energy shield, having some people come in and just chunk. Oh, it was good. It was good. I highly recommend those videos, you guys. Awesome event, X the Farmer X. All right, one more 03 topic of discussion before we discuss what happened at the beginning of the league. Sprinting. I think this is the sleeper win of the patch. I thought it was clunky when it first came out. I am now a huge sprint fan. What do you think about it, Cal?
I mean, sprint's great. It's better to not have sprint or to have sprint than not have sprint.
You don't sound
I just
on it.
It does. So right now, there is a real move speed problem in this game. And a lot of the fastest builds in the game are never sprinting. They're moving at a 100 to 200% move speed flat. So sprint's great for like the campaign, but for endgame, it doesn't really like I almost never sprint in endgame. There's just too much density, and at that point, you're gonna have enough cast while moving on, or like skill reduction, or penalty when moving, and then a bunch of move speed, usually when you get to Endgame. So you're very rarely sprinting unless you're going backwards. So it's like, okay then. I just think sprint is like a nice thing. It just doesn't solve the mobility problem of this game. The lack of mobility skills, the ones that are like really good and like are very limited to certain archetypes, and the ones that the other archetypes have are oftentimes slow, clunky, can't really be used as well as for mobility. And once you reach a certain point, you're almost never sprinting. You're just 200% holding spark, going through the map, or like on my witch hunter, 180% holding left click.
I'm very curious how many people make it to that level of power. Personally,
I'm curious too.
I've never done that, so I see sprint as a huge boon even in endgame. I'm using it in endgame. I've been using it all the way up to T15, T16 maps. On my monk,
Are you using it in combat?
Yeah, I use it in combat. I use it in boss fights too. The only area wherein I can't use sprint, and this is probably why a lot of juicers don't use sprint, delirium maps, because you have those little blobs that you step on and monsters sprint out and they will, or jump out and they instantly hit you and you get heavy stunned and you die. So I don't like run delirium maps because I don't like the aesthetic and I hate that.
You have to though, because they give you so much rarity.
That's the thing. See, and I don't care about. I'm such a weirdo, dude. I don't know what's wrong with me. See, I don't care. It's crazy.
I don't delirium juice either because it crashes my PC. But you know,
that makes sense.
It is important.
That makes sense. See, so I'm so curious how many people think like that because I totally understand. Oh well.
So I don't want to play that way. So like I most of my builds don't play that way. It's just that again, I'm not saying I don't like sprint. I like sprint. I just feel like it's not the solution, the only solution we need to mobility right now. We need other things. I don't know if that's more mobility skills. I definitely don't think I want Quicksilver Flask or anything like that. But I do think we need I don't know.
To move faster or to get out of the way of things in combat.
I'll move faster in general because like I guess the gap between high move speed builds and low move speed builds is just so big right now. Because on a lot of my builds right now, I'm running like 30 to 50 move speed, and then when you're like like move speed is like, if anything, it's more important than rarity because you're clearing more maps per hour, right? If you're talking about getting more currency per hour, what's the best way to do that? If you're clearing 5 maps in 15 minutes or you're clearing 1 map in 15 minutes, the rarity only matters so much at that point, right? You want to be going fast. And a lot of builds are really trapped at like 30%-ish to some builds have 0% move speed without high armor and they can't afford to go get those reduced move speed nodes on the right side of the warrior tree. So it's just, I think the problem is there's just a big gap right now in move speed, and maybe that's just always going to be there. Maybe just the baseline movement speed needs to be a little bit better for the weaker end builds. But I don't always play 200% move speed. I've only played like one build that's ever actually done that.
Interesting.
I'm usually a slow boy.
A lot of the problems that we've talked about here today they're interesting because they haven't cropped up with me personally. I don't know. I think maybe I'm in the minority. I honestly do not know. The rarity issue, I don't care. The movement speed issue, I don't care. But so many people do because it widens that gap between the powerful and the weak, right? And if you are participating in this game's like basically competition, which is the trade economy and making the most powerful builds, the largest number of powerful builds, right? The fastest, like you need to scale those two things. I'm interested to see how Grind Gear Games is going to address this. I wonder if, just like you said, the best idea for rarity would just be to remove it from gear. You wouldn't need to worry about it. Maybe for movement speed, it's just lowering the ability for people to get to that top end that they can right now. But in a sense, would that also kind of inhibit people's creativity and the want to do that? Because there's obviously a lot of people who want to reach that apex of power. Like, for example, Cal. Does that feel good when you get to 200% movement speed, or like when you're using skills that are you're
it's a completely different game.
It's a different game. So interesting.
Completely different game. Like my whole mentality has shifted lately once I've started playing. Like once I played my Bulletstorm build, I completely saw the other side of the coin. I was used to talk only like you, and I do want to go back to what you said about like what percentage of the player base plays like you versus plays like the seducers. I don't know which one is more popular because there's a silent minority out there, right? Someone like Fubgun would not get as many majority. Yes, someone like Fubgun doesn't get as many views on his videos videos if they're not popular builds, right? But then you have creators like me who do weird, slow, 0% rarity thorns builds who, can you get some success in the space, there's definitely a demand for both, and I constantly see people who do not care about rarity on their gear, but I very frequently see people on the other side, which is I want more movement speed. This is too slow. This is not enough rarity. Like that is a comment that I get more than the cheering on the builds, in my opinion.
Right.
I feel like at least from the vocal side of things, there is more demand for wanting to be as powerful as humanly possible, and it does matter. It matters a lot to some people.
It does, yeah. And by the way, people saying I've played for 10 hours. I played 10 hours day one. What are you guys talking about? What is this slander I'm receiving? Come on. I played like 100 hours, It's pretty good for me. Okay. Cal, was there anything else in 0.30 that you wanted to, or 0.3 overall that you wanted to touch on? Anything that we might have missed that changed up the game?
I don't think so. I think we covered that whole topic.
Okay, we hit most of them. I think it's almost, for you, it seems almost like a draw. Trade, W. Balance, L. Campaign, W. Endgame, kind of like a middling, and then sprint.
I mean, I think the foundation of this game has gotten a lot more solid. I think this is I think we've now the game is a lot more parallel with PoE1, and that's good. It just depends on where they go from here. Or do they want to pivot more towards PoE1, which I think it could pivot a little bit closer to PoE1, or do they think this is like a little bit too close to PoE1, or are they just going to keep it going from here? I think there was a lot of downsides with this patch. We didn't talk about this, I guess, so I'll talk about this now. I don't know what clip I'm sending you yet for the feedback video for 0.4, but it might be about performance. The biggest problem with this patch across the board has been performance. Crashes, it has been like the worst thing on this patch by far. So if anything was to be if anything got scrapped in 0.4, I'm okay with it. If Druid didn't come in 0.4 because they were like, we have to focus on performance instead, okay, do that. Like the performance of this patch was just absolutely F tier. It was really bad. And it still is bad till right now, even after all the updates, it's still bad.
Yeah, they've been fixing crashes and everything, but major FPS drops, people unable to play on consoles, crashes still occurring. That's my number one issue with this patch, 100%, and I think many people agree. And that's something that I've seen oft repeated in comments all the way up to my most recent video. People are saying, yeah, I was loving the patch, kept crashing, kept getting FPS drops when I touched into Abyss. I quit. I was loving it. I quit. Lots of people probably would have played, and they're just experiencing all these issues. And you know what is really unfortunate? I think that Path of Exile 2 is, breaking pretty well into the console market, but I bet consoles are the most affected by these issues, especially once people reach the end game and everything. And if they experience performance like that, I don't know if they'll return. I've seen several videos like Xbox or PS5 endgame performance and just like an over on Abyss map. Oh my gosh, man. Not even juiced. And it's ugly. It's ugly. So yeah.
It's a comment I get frequent. That's like, I tried this build on console and I can't play it. It's unplayable. It's too laggy.
And then there are some people who do not have any issues, and I am shocked. I feel like
depends on the build.
I feel like I have a NASA PC and I got the issues. It's crazy. Maybe it's because I'm playing in 4K.
I have a middle of the road PC. I crash I want to say especially in the last patches, I wasn't able to play for an hour or two without a crash.
Yeah.
That's why all my streams were always short. I would say I'm streaming until the next crash, guys. And then
that's a dangerous game.
Sometimes I would stream for 2 hours. Sometimes I would stream for 6. So
right.
But
right.
It's been it's that bad. I was kind of joking there, but this patch has been unplayably bad because of crashes and stuff.
Oh yeah, top of the list. Top of the list. Hopefully they address it, because that's actually something. Yes, they've been addressing it in the patch notes. Man, given the sheer volume of the outcries about it, I thought they would have gone head on and talked about it to the community, right? And maybe done some sort of, like you were saying, it depends a lot on the build. some mass gathering of like people's data to try to figure it out. Because I know on site they've talked about doing testing with all different sorts of graphics cards and CPUs and configurations. I just feel like for PoE 2, which was originally pitched as being actually a performance improvement over PoE 1 with the engine optimizations they were making to the existing engine, that has crashed and burned a few leagues in, unfortunately. And I bet a big reason is also because it has become more PoE 1, right? With like the Abyss monsters, so many monsters on screen, so many more effects. The visual clarity for PoE 2 is worse than PoE 1 right now.
That's what, like, it's one of the, like, there's 3 topics I've written down to send you a video about, and visual clarity is one of them. Like, the visual clarity is just absolutely bottom tier. Like, there are just, like, when you get into dense simulacrum maps or delirium maps, it is just, you have to have unkillable builds because you are inevitably getting killed by something that you can't see.
Right.
It's bad.
Right. That's just don't run delirium. Be strong. Come on, protest. No delirium, gang. Right. That's me.
I'm on it, man.
I hope they remove that gray fog. Man, I probably would run it.
I would love a setting to turn it off.
Setting to turn it off, or maybe just have like little wisps, like little clouds. You know, you don't need the entire area in fog. You just have little clouds. The game's so beautiful. Let it shine. Let it shine.
I hate the cloud. I hate it. It's gotta go.
One day it might fade away. We'll have to see. But someone who won't fade away, Cal. Wow, look at this segue. Holy crap. So, Cal.
Wow.
I know, right? So, Cal, I wanted to chat about this, and you guys, I did talk to Cal about talking about this because you took the approach to kind of just go silent on it after addressing it briefly and then just moving on, kind of embracing it. Obviously, there was a little bit of a crash out at the beginning of the league. The whole tourist thing, okay? You know, it has spawned, in my opinion, one of the most prominent memes I've ever seen in the Path of Exile community. We have Boat League, and now we have tourists, okay? Like, those are the 2 biggest memes in my opinion. I see this on the Last Epoch subreddit, Diablo subreddit. I was in like Ask Reddit a few days ago, and somebody like brought up PoE 2 and PoE 2 tourist. I was like, oh my god, it's like reaching everywhere. It's critical mass, okay? So, Cal, I kind of wanted to have a little bit of a serious conversation and just ask you, you know, what was going through your head, like that whole experience? Obviously, I have thoughts on it, and I'll give my thoughts. I've given my thoughts a few times in private. I don't think I've ever like fully elaborated on a stream before or on a podcast like this. But I'm just curious, what, from your perspective, what did it feel like as you kind of went dark when that video kind of started gaining steam?
It sucks for a lot of reasons, obviously. Like, and I just want to make before I'm not trying to make this into a pity party or anything like that. I swatted the hornet's nest. I got everything that happened. I deserved for sure. So like there was just for the first few days I was I've told you this before. I like to moderate my community just for like the mental health of my viewers. Like sometimes people just post really nasty things, and I don't have mods, so I delete all the comments just to do that. And there was a lot of crazy comments during that period. I deserved to be clowned on, and there were plenty of clowning on me comments, but there were some mean and hateful and just really bad comments. And I felt the need to read every single one of them, to delete them, because I didn't want my viewers to read those, and then, you know, you don't know what would trigger some people, right? And you just don't want to leave those comments sitting there. They're nasty, right? So I felt the need to delete all of those comments, and that's why I went dark. It's like it got to the point where like I was just like I was like so like I'm talking about really bad comments. So like those eventually, like when you're reading those all the time, they get to you. I was so broken at that point that I was like, okay, is this going to be forever now? Because I've done this. If this is going to be forever, I don't want to do this anymore, right? I've told you before that this is not my full-time job. This is kind of just a fun, happy accident. And that if this is going to be the abuse I have to take, this type of abuse forever, I don't want to be a part of this. So I went offline partly for that. And part of the other reason was the podcast that I do. I did not know, like my biggest concern at all times was Miso and Rabbit. They are very good friends of mine. Like I've become very close with them over the last time we've been doing this podcast, and I care about them a lot. And I feel like those two are like the two biggest up and coming creators in the space right now, personally. I think Miso is the best content creator PoE2 has right now. I think Rabbit is possibly one of the best streamers alongside Farmer and King Konger that are specifically PoE2 focused right now, is grinding PoE2 super hard.
Yeah.
I just love watching those two. And my concern the entire time was like, I love the podcast and love hanging out with them. And there was just like this sorrow in my heart of like, no one at any point told me I should leave the podcast, not even Mobalytics, not even them. But I just thought that like being attached with the podcast after I just did that would just be such a negative impact to their career. So
Yeah.
that's why I went offline. It was just like it was too much to see, like read all the comments and stuff, and then I was just like, oh, this is probably really bad. And if I quit the podcast, like I was having so much fun with it, I didn't think I would want to continue just doing content in general, right? That would just be like a big L. So it was just mainly scoping that out. The reason why I didn't make a video when I came back is A, it had already been a long enough time to like it felt like I was just inviting controversy back. And B, in general, I don't like apology videos. I think they're very performative and fake. It's just very much like a look at me, I'm trying to like I don't know. Anytime I see apologies videos, maybe I'm just like misreading them or something, but they always seem performative to me. If you're sorry, you're going to show you're sorry by acting different over time. The people I want to talk to, or in the video that I insulted, I'll eventually like our paths will cross eventually. Given enough time. I recently just had King Kongor on the podcast. We talked off the podcast. Like he's a great guy. He said some really nice things to me. He was the second person in that video that I reacted to. So like that's why I didn't make a video. It wasn't that I didn't want to make a video, but like I got myself in such a mentally bad place after reading the comments for so long. And then I got myself even in a more bad place by like feeling bad about like the whole podcast situation.
Right.
The whole time though, like Miso and Rabbit were like very supportive. They like I very clearly early on remember that Rabbit saying, "You're not leaving the podcast. Give it time. You need to relax." And like they were like that's how they were the entire time. They were wonderful friends. Whether they're right or wrong about how this is going to negatively impact the podcast long term, we'll have to see. I think obviously, this is going to have long term downsides of like there's certain fans or viewers that will just never want to affiliate and watch anything I'm on, right? It's like that's always like so there's definitely a negative wrong from it for sure.
Yeah.
But
I think it just exposed. So thank you. This feels weird. Thank you for not disappearing. I think you made the right decision. It definitely was an unfortunate situation. I think that a lot of the creators, the majority of the creators who used that video, made reactions on it, everything, they were clearly doing it for content, right? I think a lot of them, regardless of what they said or they didn't say or implied in their videos, they were mostly doing it for content. And I don't know if you agree with this or not, but the real thing that takes a toll, honestly, is like the people that come after. Like a lot of people, honestly, that have been in this stream right now, talking shit, saying, why in the world would you be talking to this guy? Did you hear what X, Y, and Z said about this person? You should never platform, like treating you as though one thing you've said is your entire being. It's absolutely insane how people will see a clip and decide that's an entire person's personality. It's really interesting how people think like that, right? And it's just life. People make mistakes. People say stupid things. I do it all the absolute time. People at my work do it all the time. My dad, my mom, my brother, my family, everybody. And people think that because you talked about, the way people were treating a Path of Exile game, a video game, how they were doing commentary on it, that you should be exiled from the community. That is, dude, it is insane. And it just exposes how wild some people are in this community. And honestly, and I know I'm unsub, guys. Seriously, if you think like that, that is ridiculous. If you think this guy who I'm talking to right now should not be able to do anything because he made one little video, a few little comments, guys, it's okay. It's fine. People do that all the time. I'm going to do it. You're going to do it. Chill out about it. Seriously. I thought you handled it great. You came back. You didn't make the apology video. I totally agree about those. They are performative. You instead put on a very intentional performance. You embraced the meme because, dude, that meme is going to live forevermore, okay? And I think it's going to blow over. Sure, there might be the negative impact, those viewers who won't watch you because of that little clip. But I think a lot more people respect you for embracing it and moving past it, because a lot of people would have just quit. They would have just completely quit and gone dark and never come back. But props to you, dude. Seriously. And Miso, Dead Rabbit, anybody who's like reached out and talked to you, props to them as well. Really appreciate it. I thought Balor Mage too. I know he participated in the clowning. He even made a react on it. But I thought he had the best take. He was just like, sure, he said something fucking stupid. Okay, let's go. Let's move on. Cool. Like, people do that, guys. I don't know, man. It was wild to see, because it became the
intense.
It became the event of the league.
It was deserved. So I want to. There's a few things I want to say. First, thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, you were a good friend. Jorgen, he said some really nice things to me.
Yeah.
Arrow Gaming. Arrow was really, really nice. He was the one that like messaged me initially after the first day or two after the video came out. Like he messaged me about it. He's like, "Hey, I know who you are and what your message normally is, and I get what the message you were trying to say in this video, but this is the worst way you could have said it. I know." Like he sent me a really nice video, and it was when he messaged, and when he messaged me and we talked about it, it was when he messaged me. I hadn't watched the video for 2 days. When I made that video, I was like in a crazy, like I was,
right.
I'm not making excuses.
Yeah.
And look, I'm about to go on a weird rant here, but I went and rewatched the video, and at the end of the video, when I think I said "fuck everyone" at the front of this video, like that's not how I really feel. Like I felt like so bad. I like King Kong, or I like everyone really at the front of most of the people at the front of that video. And the people I don't like, I don't hate or anything, but like the whole tone of that video was awful, and it was very disrespectful. It didn't matter what word I used. It could have been tourist. It could have been anything. It was a very disrespectful tone, and that's why people are so offended. I do agree that, like, you know, you have parasocial viewers, their favorite streamer, they go nuts, right? I didn't watch any of the reactions from anybody. I couldn't watch the original video. So how am I going to watch some like streamer psychoanalyze me and roast me for 4 hours when I can't even watch the original video? I said a lot of goofball shit. There's some stuff I stand by in that video. I stand by a lot of the emotions and frustrations I felt. But I said some goofball ass shit. Like I think I called Zizarin a boomer. I think I'm older than him. I think I called Jung a clown. Like that was just ridiculous. I said I think this game's on a path of building game. Like I was clearly just crashing out and just in a really awful mood, and I was lacking a lot of sleep.
Yeah,
but
man.
I deserved. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, since we're chatting about it, and I hope everybody watching is going to be respectful in the comments. Like I said before, we say dumb crap all the time. Like even, it's shocking how people will like take a few things that you say and like I said, turn it into your entire personality, your entire brand. When a lot of people, if they, like the people who reached out in good faith, they knew what you were trying to say. They were just like, you were just saying, man, a lot of people are obviously trying to incite the hate up on this game to drive clicks. That sucks. I really don't like it.
And that's what I was rage baiting in that clip too. Like the whole tourist thing.
You were. People
to
do
explain tourists. The very first PoE 2 video I made, I've made games content for a lot of games. I've never heard the term tourist before in a video game. Yeah, and my very first PoE 2 video, I was called a tourist. It said something like, "Look at this WoW player with a gnome avatar. He's such a fucking tourist. Get off this game." Right. And that comment resonated with me for so long. And I kept seeing tourists pop up. Like this is before the tourist drama. This has been going on since I became a PoE 2 creator.
That's funny,
and then we started seeing it on other new creators' videos. And then I started seeing it on our podcast. That entire time, I'm just saying tourist means nothing. That's why it's so easy to embrace this meme. It's like, oh, I'm the tourist guy. Like, what does tourist mean? It means nothing. I obviously in that video, my tone did not leave any room for joking. But when I'm in my head, when I'm calling people tourists, I'm really just trying to trigger those people who call me tourists.
Right.
I have at no point thought any creator would think that I'm being serious, but when you watch that video, obviously I left no room at all for you to think I am being serious. But like, that's why it's such an easy meme to come back from and embrace. Like if I'm the tourist guy, like people have done way more embarrassing things. There have been way more horrible crash outs on the internet. And I'm just talking about the internet. Look at the world around you. Like
Yes.
Yes, I made an ass of myself. Absolutely. And I feel like shit about it. I'm sure there's going to be people who hate me forever. That's fine. Like, I can't walk it back. Hopefully, in time, that I can show that. Really, I just wanting to spread the joy of this game and the build making process. I like showing off fun builds to people. And a lot of portions in that video I come off as gatekeepy and it's
Mm,
really cringe and stuff. And that's never been a message I've wanted to send. But
exactly.
yeah, I was just an asshole. I was just an asshole in that video,
Yeah.
and yeah, I
Which is
deserved everything that came.
which
You
is
know,
what, I disagree with you on that. I disagree with you on that. I don't think you deserve people bandwagon piling on you, leaving all those comments, saying that I'll watch your content.
well, maybe
I
not
think
everything,
I
but
think
you
that, yeah,
know,
not
I
everything.
spotted the hornet's
I
man,
think,
man. I
yeah, it's
spotted the
fine.
hornet's nest for sure.
I think that, like I said, the React thing, it was just content, and I think a lot of people are pretty much bang on. They don't take it that seriously. I think there are maybe a few creators who are like, okay, wow, taking this hard, but I think a lot were like, oh, it's content.
It was
And
disrespectful. If
it
people
was
wanted to be
disrespectful,
offended by
right?
it, and
Right.
because I would generalize the entire time. I never
Yeah.
said a person's name the entire
Right.
time. I don't think, at least. I think I generalized. So if you wanted to be offended by it,
Oh,
you
easy,
could. You were allowed to be.
easy,
Like,
dude,
I do not blame you. Like
easy.
I was a douche that entire video. I was trying
Right.
to I was yeah, I was
I
being
watched the
crazy in
video.
that. I was in a
I,
mood, man.
I watched the video. I've watched the video. I watched a few reacts to the video. Yeah, it's a tough watch. It is. I think it's
It gets
because
silly,
I
man.
just
I
knew
said some goofball shit.
you did. You 100% did, man. I just
I
know
said
that
some goofy shit.
you did. You're a very genuine, chill, cool person. In private when we chat. We've been chatting for like many months now, and you do make great build videos. That was not your. I saw like one person had the view like, this is the only thing you've done for PoE. You come in, you call everybody trash, you call everybody tourists. Nobody's as good as me. Not the case, man. You've been putting out awesome builds. People are loving them. I read the comments; they're very positive. I wanted to bring up also, you said, oh, I don't know if it'll pass. People won't watch me, right? Okay, those people are probably gone. They've mostly forgotten about it. Maybe we stirred it up a little bit with this podcast, but I think they're mostly gone. I think it's going to fade. I think people are going to forget about it. You bring up a great point. People do all sorts of stupid stuff in real life. All these sorts of crazy events happen in the real world, and people forget about them like 2 days later. The tourist meme will live on, but the clowning on you, I think, will pass. I really do think
We'll
that's
see.
the case. So
Again, there was something I was just very disrespectful. Like, I don't blame parasocial relationships exist, but I'm not even talking about parasocial relationships. When you're a fan of somebody, like if
yeah,
I was a fan of you and someone said the things I said
right,
in that video about you,
right,
I would feel very strongly about them.
right.
Okay, so like
Yep.
again, I do not blame anyone who feels that way. It's just in time, hopefully, I can apologize to a lot of the people I slapped in the face or spit on, or whatever you want to say in the comments, and I can mend those bridges. And if not, yeah, I just want to show PoE2 being fun, and
You
I'm
are.
I'm sorry.
You are, and you do. No, oh God, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. But you do you. You do you. All right. Thank you for continuing to make content, man. I think everything's gonna be fine. Okay. So, all right. What is it? Okay. Oh yeah. Let's talk about Path of Exile 1 for a second. Cut tourist section right there. 3.27. You think you're gonna take a tour of it, Cal? You gonna pop in? I heard you only got to level 93 before in PoE 1, and we all know you got to have at least 78 level 100s to actually talk about that game. Gonna try to do that this league?
Oh, I'm definitely a PoE1 tourist. So like, if you want to clown on me and call me that all you want, go for it. I don't know. My return to PoE1 last patch, I really did not like mercenaries. I was not a big fan of that league mechanic. It really, like, early on, it very much felt like your build was revolving around mercenaries. Your either mercenary was making you just uber defensive, or it was killing everything for you. I also chose a very weird build. I found like a Tempest Shield Jorgen build that was like, oh, I'll be fun in Dell. It's kind of reflected Mimi. It was not a very good build to experience the entire game with. So I didn't have motivation to mapping. It was just really a delve build. So I picked a very bad build for my first return to PoE 1. So that's why I quit so early, I feel. Maybe I just quit because, the game's no longer for me. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I will dabble in 3.27. There's weirdly speculation that Thorns is coming to PoE 1.
Oh,
I'm not too excited about that. If that happened, I don't know if I would play Thorns. I probably would just if I want to give PoE 1 like a deep dive, and I'm probably just going to play something I'm comfortable with, like Cyclone, a build I haven't played in a while, and I
okay.
know I would enjoy spamming. if I do play it. It just depends on the what the thing comes. I more than likely will be a tourist for sure, but for how long I play, like if it ends up being fun, I'll deep dive. But I would imagine at least a week. There's still so much I want to play in PoE 2. I haven't done any solo self-found or hardcore yet.
Okay.
I've just been purely been build crafting the last several weeks. So
Okay. Well, I
I don't.
mean,
I still kind of want to keep playing PoE 2, but I will be
right.
playing, yeah, for sure.
Okay. See, I was far more a tourist than you, man. It sounds like you stayed quite a while. All right, because I only played for like four
I
hours,
played.
dude. 4 hours.
Oh no, I played for like a little over a week, I
That's
want to
good. That's
say.
good. So you reached the end game. I
Um,
I am a true PoE 1 tourist at this point. I don't know if I'm gonna make it because yeah, I've really felt when I played 3.26, it wasn't even really the mercenaries mechanic. It was just I got to Act 4 and I didn't have that desire to log on. It was almost as if the game wasn't for me. I wasn't having fun. I didn't have that itch. But man, the past week, dude, I don't know what the hell is wrong with me. But I have the itch to play PoE 1. I don't know why. I haven't played. Saving it all up for Halloween night after trick or treating. But I really want to play for some reason. I don't know if it's all in my head, like I'm seeking nostalgia. I logged into Neverwinter Nights 1, which is a game from my childhood, and I played it for a few hours at 2 a.m. one night randomly. I think my brain is it's on something. I need to seek games from my past and play them. And PoE 1 is one of those things right now almost. So oh
I mean, we'll have to see what's coming. Like all the quality of life changes look great. I mean, async
right.
trade coming to the game alone makes. I'm a trade Andy, so that would be a huge. I don't think that's been hard confirmed yet. We've had teasers via UIs and stuff. Yeah,
It's
I don't
coming.
know. The gameplay feel is just completely different, right? Like if you
It
prefer
is.
the feel of one or the other, you're always going to have a little bit of an off feeling when playing it. But yeah, you have the itch to play PoE 1 again because it's a good game,
I know.
and it's always exciting. It's never
I
not
know.
going to be exciting when you're getting the league start announcements.
Right, right. They
And
always put on quite the performance. So
they're the
Thursday's
best
gonna be
for it.
good. Thursday's gonna be good. I'm very excited. I don't know if Ziggy D's flying out or not. I haven't seen any announcements, so maybe it's gonna be an online one. But they've really been hyping up this whole breach thing. So I'm pretty sure they're just gonna do what you hate, Cal, and they're gonna port all the PoE 2 breach assets into PoE 1. They're gonna totally do that. Because none of them exist in PoE 1 right now. So it would be new for Path of Exile 1.
We'll have to see.
Yeah,
Don't they
100%.
make assets for both games now? Like whenever they have something
They
like
do.
an asset, they
Yep.
intentionally make it for both games. So.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Any closing thoughts about PoE 1, PoE 2, 0.4, anything else, man? This has been. We have gone for an hour and a half. Jeez. Wow. Okay. That's crazy. I need to turn on my air conditioner.
Um, Closing thoughts. Yeah, I'm excited for 0.4. I think the foundation of the game is good. I think 0.4 is like going to be a very important milestone for this patch, or for this game, for the like at least the future of it, I hope. The end game is by far the worst part of this game. Like it is like everything else is starting to get more and more polished, but the end game and the end game balance needs a lot of love. And I really hope that this patch is just, yeah, I really hope they do a lot with it. I'm a Delve fan. Like I said in 3.26, all I did was Delve. It was my first time playing Delve, and I was just absorbed by it. And if we got Delve in PoE 2, I mean, that I would love it. I love that kind of challenge of just kind of this like endless difficulty where you have to scale both defenses and offenses, and it's a good benchmark for your build league to league. Like in this league, this build got depth 2000, but in this league it was able to get 2400, and with the
Right.
nerfs in this league it hit 1800. Like that's the kind of stuff I like as a build maker, and yeah, I really hope we get Delve in 0.4.
That would be a hefty drop if they put Delve into the game. That'd be crazy, but it would be very end game focused. It would be the ultimate end game drop, right? Because of the infinite scaling, like you mentioned. So we'll have to see if those data mines are right, man. And I really appreciate you doing this pod with me, dude. You said you were nervous at the start. An hour and a half just flew by like nothing. So I hope it flew by for you. It flew by for me. So
Yeah, it
hopefully
flew
had a good
by.
time,
I
man.
always like chatting with you, man.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Well, dude, I know you said you wanted me to remind you to mention it. You already did. Do it again. Path to Exile podcast. I think there's one tomorrow.
Yeah, so I do a podcast. It's a weekly show with Miso Shiro and Dead Rabbit. We are a Mobalytics podcast. We're all Mobalytics creators. And tomorrow we're gonna have Farmer on the podcast. But yeah, weekly podcast, and I mean it's Dead Rabbit and Miso Shiro. So just they're awesome. So come hang out with them. I also just make my own YouTube videos. So come subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to support me, the best way to do that is I'm an indie game developer. Tomorrow I am releasing an HD patch for my horror game. So if you're looking for something to kill time on between 3.7 327, waste an hour or two of your life. If you've played Exit 8, it's an anomaly hunt memory style horror game, except this one's got like a lot more jump scares. So you'll get scared a few times. You know, it's $4 and it'll be on the Steam October Scream Fest on discount for 33%. So if you don't want to spend $4 for it, I think it'll be like $2.99 soon or something.
Nice
So
sale. Nice sale.
yeah, that's the best way to support me is, yeah, buy my game.
Excellent. Okay, Kal, thank you so much for hopping on the pod. Thanks everybody in the live chat for watching on Twitch, on YouTube. If you're watching the VOD right now on YouTube, make sure you leave a comment below. We really appreciate the support. Like the video, sub to my channel, sub to KallTorak's, and go check out the Path to Exile podcast on Misu Shiro's Twitch and YouTube channels. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Yep, we're sending hearts your way. If you're on Spotify, give it 5 stars. Okay? See ya. Bye-bye.